I finally just wanted a guitar to die for, you know, a guitar that was really, really sweet and really versatile also. So I looked around, and Tom Anderson was by far the best one I came across. That was still a rock guitar. I mean, there's some very, very nice handmade instruments, but they just happen to look like coffee tables. Yeah, I use this one all the time. Now, I find it hard to play anything else, you know, for a couple of reasons. Number one, it really has a lot of versatility with the 5-way switch, and it sounds really good in every position. And of course, it has a Floyd. I find it very hard to go back to playing, you know, my Les Paul again. Hello, baby. Which is a great guitar. I love the neck in it and stuff, but it's so hard to play a guitar without a wangy bar when you get used to it. You know, so much of my style, I get used to playing on solo stuff. I use a bar instead of picking. You know, I find myself reaching for that bar on the Les Paul and wishing it were there. When I did that first Dio record, I was using just a straight JCM 800 Marshall unmodified with a distortion box. I had no effects at all, and I always wanted to have a rack. Behold. I mean, I always really wanted to have effects because I love versatility. I like to be able to go from really clean, you know, chorused sounds to big on stereo delay distorted sounds, you know, at the touch of a button, and thanks to Bob Bradshaw here, I can do it. The Soldano I'm using mostly for solos. I have that set up with a little more treble on top, as I told you. That's feeding into this juice extractor because in a Bradshaw system you don't take from the power amp, you take from the preamp, so we take the line out. So on all these amps I have to run load resistors, and in this one I'm using the juice extractor because that tends to make it breathe a little more and be a little bit more like it were coming out of a speaker as opposed to a load homage box. The Randall tube amp, I've had this for about 3 years. I got this with Whitesnake because at the time I was using Randall solid-state amps, and they got to be really obnoxious when I had to drive them so loud because we played really loud in Whitesnake, and I really sacrificed a lot of the tone. This is another Randall stereo chorus preamp. It's 2 channels. This is what I use mostly for the cleaner sounds. The green channel on the bottom is totally clean, and the one above it just has a little bit of distortion, which I use for a more subtle thing. The whole thing runs through the loop, all the effects, and there's power to the speakers through the Mesa Boogie here. And it can be loud and it can be soft. And the great thing about it is you can get the same tone at any level, and it's quiet. On that is a Soldano through a BBE, which is down here at the bottom of the rack. This sonic maximizer, I'm sure you've heard a lot about, which really adds a lot of low end and a lot of real highs. These things are a godsend. I love them. They really add a lot of clarity and a lot of substance to pretty much everything. So that was a Soldano with the BBE. I have a hush gate on it to keep it quiet. I got a PCM 70 stereo delay on that. And I got a little bit of reverb coming from my SRV 2000. I'm also EQing it again through this ART reverb or equalizer. I'm not sure exactly what I'm boosting. It's a long time since I wrote the program, but probably just a little bit more high-end for definition. And also there was a chorus on that, which is this fine unit here, something from the dark ages that I found. It's an old analog chorus and flange unit, because I don't like digital flanging or chorusing at all. I think it sounds very cheesy. So I wanted to get an analog unit, and a good friend of mine, Jeff Glicksman, turned me onto that thing. So I hunted one down and bought it. The rhythm tone is a lot like the Soldano, just a little bit less high-endy. Sometimes I solo on that sound too. If I want it to be not quite so massive, I would use that program. That's the Randall tube amp, again with the BBE, again through a hush unit, and with just a little bit of reverb on it. The next one down at this point in time is the Randall stereo chorus, which I use for just a little bit of distortion. When I use this setting, normally I would go to one of the other pickup settings. I go to a single coil or something. And on that, I have the BBE again, PCM 70, give me a stereo delay, equalizer for a little high end, reverb, and the chorus again. Last sound I have at the minute is the very clean one. Which of course is, you know, a lot warmer sounding. At first I wanted something that was going to be comparable to this. This is a Duncan full shred, which I'd been using in all my guitars for the last 3 or 4 years, and I really love the way the pickup sounds. But my only complaint with it was when I went clean, even when I split the coil and used it as a single coil, it still would distort on me when I would hit the low E string. If I hit it with any kind of vigor, it would fart. And so I told Tom that I wanted something similar to that, and we tried. And the first humbucker I had in here was very, very close to that, but gave me the same problem. So I had to, you know, gradually back it off and get a humbucker that wasn't quite so aggressive. And this is what we ended up with. So on the way I have this, I have humbucker in the back, and then it splits on the second position here. It splits to a single coil. And in the middle position, we have the single coil humbucker with this middle pickup in that skanky out of phase Strat thing. And position 4 is back to the humbucker again. Now, I can never remember I get this right. I know there's 2 ways to wire a humbucker. There's series and parallel. And whichever way has a thinner sound. One of them has a very distinct difference. Sounds almost like a single coil, but without the noise. Well, that's what position 4 is. So you guys know. Position 5 is just a regular front Strat neck pickup. Playing guitar has come a long way, I guess, since the days of plugging straight into a Fender or a Marshall. And I'm glad, because I much prefer this.